Millionaire, millionaire success habits, the gateway to wealth and prosperity. Even though this was not the case for me or my family, the thing is, Dean Graziosi has been one of the worst influences on my life out of, I think, any million. Okay, dedication. I'd like to dedicate this book to my friends Tony Robbins, Joe Polish, and Dan Sullivan, the three people who have massive influence on my life, my success, and my abundance. I cannot even begin to express how grateful I am to for these three men who came into my life exactly when I needed to teach me writing a book is how you get rich. But I also want to dedicate this book to all the men and women throughout the years who had the will and selflessness to share their life changing wisdom through books and talks, those eager for a new path. Also, my book. I did my best to soak in all that I heard, read, and observed, and in turn, what I learned seeped into my thoughts and words. Put them in here, though, but fine. The exercises, the stories, the recipes, and the success habits you'll find in these pages, I have learned through decades of my own trial and error, failures and successes. But they have been greatly enriched by all the others who have walked the path before me. That I am grateful. Dedication, then, is my way of recognizing all the people who have made such a difference in my life. I'm hoping that in the same way I will serve you, and this book will make an equally big difference in your life. It didn't, ever. In the spring of 1944, a boy who we'll call JP was born to immigrant parents in a rough neighborhood in the heart of Los Angeles. Before JP was 2 years old, his parents divorced, his mother struggled financially, and by the time he was 9 years old, JP was out on the streets looking for a way to help his mom make ends. Newspapers, flower pots, Christmas cards, you name it, he most likely tried to sell it. I bet this guy turns into a millionaire. When his mother could no longer take care of JP and his brother, the boys were placed in a foster. As a teenager with no parental guidance, JP fell into the wrong crowd, joining a local gang and struggled to pass his classes as a student in John Marshall's high school in Los Angeles. Yeah, I heard they all juke. Yeah, one day in 11th grade, JP high school taught him and his friend Michelle goofing off and passing notes in class and proceeded to make them both stand up in front of the room while he proclaimed, "See these two? Don't hang around them because they're not going to amount to anything. They'll absolutely never make it in any business." You hear all the times where it's like a person proves their teacher wrong, but you never hear all the times where the teacher's just right. Like this guy is gonna end up dead in 4 years, and later, oh, the guy's just dead as it turns. JP may have not realized it at the time, but moments like that are what start to create our life habits. Successful ones, but also bad ones. They can hold us back from our full. JP could have said to himself, "I'll never amount to anything," but he said, "The hell with that guy, I'll prove him wrong." JP developed his first successful habit on one of his very first jobs. He said, "I worked all my life starting from 9 years old. I had things like paper routes at 11 years old, and I continued throughout high school. I even worked for a while at a local dry cleaner, sweeping the floors and doing odd jobs for an owner that was so tight with money that he squeaked when he walked. I was working as hard as I possibly could for a mere $1.25 per hour. Then one day after school, he called me over and said, 'Last night I looked behind the cabinets. There was no dust. Then I picked up a rug, no dust. You clean the place as if I'm watching you every minute.' I said, 'You hired me to clean, and my job is to do just that.' He was so pleased, he gave me a raise of $1.50 an hour. Whoa! For him to do that, it was like I won an Academy Award. To be honest, I learned an important lesson from successful people get 25 cent rate in income. Whether they're working for somebody else or working for themselves, do whatever they do the best of their ability, as if the boss is watching them every minute of every. I learned that in everything you do, always do your best. Yeah, guys, that sounds a great lesson. Some may believe that this makes you foolish, a foolish yes man. I believe that doing your best is one of the many success habits you should develop. I'm going to read that again. I believe that doing your best is one of many success habits you should develop. All right, hey, we got our first lesson. You should be trying your best. I don't know if you've ever heard this tip before, but first step to success is actually trying. Take that to heart. Uh, the benefits are numerous, varied, and significant. In this instance, his habit helped JP complete a mundane task in the present and complete it well, and led him to tasks in the future that he loved. I yeah, I'm sure that this guy learned that from him sweeping up every day and then getting an extra 25 cents an hour that like damn, now I'm gonna be better at football. Okay, alright, dude. Uh before continuing with JP's story, I'd like to tell you a little about success habits, how this book will help you make them your own. I'm going to show you a path and process that will allow you to adopt success habits so they stick. You don't have to flip your world upside down or try to force new habits over that disrupt your life, cause you to go back to where you started. Rather, you can make barely noticeable small shifts in your daily routines by nudging out those things that don't serve you, replace them with habits that create a path to wealth and abundance. That's right. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, an executive, an investor, an employee, or a young person just starting your habits, principles, recipes, and exercises. The coming chapters will give you a competitive edge, catapulting you that next level. While this book's main focus is on financial success, the methods I'll share can also propel you to new levels of fulfillment in other areas of life, including family, parenting, friendships, relationships, spirituality, health, physical fitness, love, passion, intimacy, and more. No matter what anyone has told you in the past, you're entitled to and can possess fulfillment, joy, and abundance in all areas of. I'll help you develop these habits through a variety of methods. I'll share amazing stories of hugely successful people and people I know and how they learned and applied the behavior that allowed them to become high achievers. I provide exercises for you to develop and practice new habits. I'll offer some stories from your own life that I hope will inspire and instruct. More about all this later. Now let's return to our friend who, when we last saw him, was sweeping floors with great effort. JP proceeded to graduate high school, but didn't go to college. Instead, he joined the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier USS. After the Navy, JP held various low-paying janitor gas stations. He worked briefly for Redkin Laboratory, fired after disagreeing with his boss. He even took a job as a low-paid door-to-door encyclopedia sales. Looking back at the time, JP said he's learned another important long success. Yeah. This is the door-to-door sales. I would knock on 50 doors, and all 50 would close my face. So I had to learn how to be just as enthusiastic on door number 51 as or 150 as I was on the first door. To learn to overcome rejection, communicate with people by listening, not persuade them, others to take action, even though it was not a dream job. He didn't realize at the time he was building some of the key success habits that would allow him to achieve breakthroughs. At the time, though, they helped him persevere. The average door-to-door encyclopedia salesman at the time, working for straight commission, lasted only 3 days, while JP lasted 3.5 years. Despite his work ethic, JP still became homeless as a young adult. When I was homeless for the first time in my early 20s, my wife just couldn't handle being a mother anymore. So she left our 2.5-year-old son in my arms and took off with all the money we had. All of it. His money. Mark. Yeah, get fucking dunked on, nerd. I soon learned that she hadn't paid rent for the last 3 months, so no money, and being 3 months past due on rent, we were evicted. I wonder what cool lesson he's gonna learn. I was in between jobs, so my son and I were on the streets with no money coming in and attempting to live in the old car I owned. I remember saying to my son, "We're going to make it together." I went around to vacant lots and picked up Coke bottles and 7 Up bottles. Because in those days, you got 2 cents for one and 5 cents for a big one. When you're broke and you can't pay the bills, those are some of the most difficult times as a man and as a father. But what I learned from that was that when you're really down and out, you're at the very bottom, all you can do is look up. That's some good folksy wisdom right there. When you're out of there, look, the only way is up. I mean, that's not true. Big things can always get, even when you think there's no way this can get worse. Absolutely, that's not. But that's fine if he wants to believe. Anyways, as difficult as JP circumstances were, he possessed an advantage that many others in much better circumstances lack. Yeah, hey, being homeless is so cool and powerful. It's definitely not just a useless thing that we do to each other on purpose. That we can lower the lower ability for workers to demand things in the workplace by having a homeless population and saying, "Hey, you could be this." It doesn't incentivize them to work for longer hours. But no, it's good and noble, I guess. As difficult as JP's circumstances were, he possessed an advantage that many others in much better circumstances lack. He had a vision for his life. He was determined to start his own company. And after selling encyclopedias door to door for those 3 years, he knew he didn't want to work for someone else, and that he could make it on his own. There's one major obstacle. JP only had $700 to. Everyone told him he couldn't start his company because he needed more money, more schooling, more experience, more different economy, countless other things that he lacked. Sound familiar? Well, after listening to all that advice, he did what most successful. He listened first and foremost to himself, started the company anyway. JP developed a success habit of believing in himself and ignore the naysayers. That was extremely difficult. I mean, how do you start a company? Balance your bills, not get paid, and still go out door to door selling your products every day? It was extremely difficult. I would have gone bankrupt every single day for the first 2 years of the company. 2 years later, we were finally able to pay our bills on time. Not only pay them, but pay them off. I remember saying we made it. We got $2,000 left. We made it. Eventually, JP would use his persuasion and communication skills to grow his company by leaps and bounds. JP listening skills to the next level and developed a key habit of being able to read his customers on the deepest level. I think what I'm really skilled at is having the ability to listen, not just listen, but to listen to everything people are saying instead of thinking about what I'm going to say. That took a while, but I eventually got pretty good. Whoa. Listening is a powerful tool, guys. Oh, Mike's randomly cutting out? Thanks. Here, let me lean closer to it. Alright, reading this book. Eventually, through persistence in developing positive success habits, listening to understand, having vision, always doing his best no matter what, ignoring the naysayers, and staying positive in the face of rejection, JP built his company into an international success. Right. Perhaps you heard the old saying, if it's not where you start, it's where you finish. JP is living proof of this adage. He started with nothing and rose to become one of the wealthiest people in the world. In 2015, Forbes magazine listed him as number 234 on the Forbes 400 list of richest Americans with a net worth of 2.8 billion. JP's full name is John Paul DeJora.
DeJoria.
He's founder of Paul Mitchell line of hair products, Patron Tequila, and a dozen other successful businesses. DeJoria also advises young entrepreneurs to develop positive habits, believe in their gut instincts, and take risks. He says, you can't just let other people get you down. I mean, what the heck do they know? I was told, no, you can never enter the beauty industry dozens of times. Everyone would tell me that there's too much competition and that I have no money. I was even laughed at when I started Patron. People said tequila at $37 per bottle. Are you kidding? I can buy tequila for $4. So go with your gut feeling and always do something good for someone else. Though I love John Paul DiGiorno.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
DiGiorno.
Yep. I relish that early ad, admosh admonish. It's not admonishment. Admonish of his high school teacher who told John Paul and his friend Mitchell Gilliam they'd never amount to anything. Well, to say that they proved their teacher wrong is a gross understatement. John Paul's a billionaire. He's changing lives all over the world. And uh, Michelle Gilliam is better known as Michelle Phillips, founder of the 1960s folk rock band The Mamas and Papas, and sold 40 million records. Michelle tracked down that teacher for John Paul's 50th birthday. When the teacher learned the success of his two former students, all I could say was, "Well, shit." Hmm. He said, "Well, shit, shit, well, shit." Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay, success happens will put you on a different path. Hearing a story like John Paul's can be inspirational. Yeah. It could be that Rocky story or that Rudy story or the story of the underdog who climbs his way up and makes it happen. But as inspiring as John Paul's story is, in a way, it could also make you second guess your abilities. You might ask, I'm not what John Paul is. I can't do what he did. Maybe I don't have the energy he does or the nerve he does. If this is your thought, then realize that this is in at this moment it doesn't matter where you've come from. It only matters where you've been and where you want to go. Ugh, cool. It's eight. Yeah. You think?
Okay. But,
Yeah, that's not chapter one. This is the introduction.
oh, that's
Yeah. Oh, my legs. Okay. Hearing a story like John Paul's can be inspirational. It could be that Rocky story or that Rudy story, the story of an underdog, blah, 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 blah. I read this. If this is your thought, then realize that this moment, it doesn't matter where you've come from, it only matters where you are and where you want to go. Wow. It's funny. He's actually saying the opposite of that guy, Andrew Tate. You've heard of that? Andrew Tate's the millionaire kickboxer guy, the American guy raised in Britain. Now he lives in the non-extradition country of Romania. Yeah, famous for all that stuff. On top of saying a couple of let's just say sexist things like property. Women are property. They don't deserve like huh?
The bride is property.
Yeah, yeah. Women are property. Yeah, and one of his big quotes is what? The opposite of that guy is EA. What's in the game? True. What was it? What did he say? Um, a man that has sex with 200 women is the man, and a woman that has sex with 200 men is worthless. And that a woman should only care about a man's future, and a man should only care about a woman's past. Like cringe shit like that. He's a piece of shit and a loser, and he's dumb, and he's cringe. Yeah, that's what I have to say. Also, welcome to the stream, Blue Knight. Yes. Yeah. But you've got to make the commitment to go there. It only matters where you are and where you want to go. You could be doing a thousand other things other than reading this book. True. In many cases, you could be doing busy work that dulls your senses, makes you carry on that status quo life that is less than you deserve. Humans are busier now than we've ever been in the history of time. I love technology. With all the advancements to make our life easier, it's really just allowed us to go faster. Well, I mean that's because of capitalism. Because companies a company can't stay the same size or is considered to be dying. So you grow into this massive entity that all it's supposed to do is grow and get bigger. So you just either start faking growth, or you start sabotaging like other people in the industry so that you can take what they have. Uh, and also the workers, not the owners, are the people that would take the brunt of this. Uh,
That's what always happens.
yeah, Yeah, that's what it is. So technology, even though it's supposed to free up more time, even though we're more productive than ever, we're doing
They, when you have free time, you're supposed to be working.
yeah, yeah. Even though I'm doing, you know, 10 or 20 times more work, like I'm getting more 20 times more work than somebody from like 50 years ago doing like a similar job. I'm expected to just do more work.
Right.
It's not like they're gonna pay me a fair wage. They just want me to for the same do more work for the same amount of pay. And
I know exactly.
yeah, and on top of that, like I'm supposed to be working all work hard, and ultimate goal of like work is to be able to like retire with like the way things are right now. Uh, most people I know will not get to retire, especially with the economy off up. Uh, you know, the housing market's terrible. Hopefully, I guess hopefully it pops because yeah, you can't buy a house. in most places right now. Outside of LA, you can not in LA. Yeah, things are kind of not looking too hot. That's okay. That's okay. Humans are busier now than we've ever been in the history of time. I love technology, but let's face it, what it has really done is made everyone flat out busy. Text messages and emails buzzing in our pockets, our constant availability for phone calls, and hot new apps and social media on our phones. We are more distracted, more unfocused, and more enmeshed in sweating the small stuff than ever before. This leads to so many of us feeling like we're sprinting every day but really not getting anywhere. Well, what if I told you it's true, you're going faster than ever before, or you do it, but you may be on a treadmill, not a ladder? Fast is only good when you're on the right path. Otherwise, all you get is lost quicker. When you have the right success habits, you get to go fast in the right direction because you know the destination in advance. I promise to share these habits in a way that will allow you to adjust them and use them with ease. It will soon become apparent how you can quiet all the other noise in your life and expose the clear path to your next level. Let me tell you why this time will be difficult. Like John Paul, you'll see a growing number of small shifts you can make now that will have a massive impact down the road. When I was in a special reading in seventh grade, I was mocked by my own teacher, Miss Thompson, just as John Paul was. She told me I was stupid regularly because, unbeknownst to me, I had dyslexia and had trouble wrapping my mind around reading and spelling basics. I just couldn't figure it out. But there is, of course, a silver lining to those struggles, and a silver lining to Miss Thompson's misguided motivation. In fact, there are a lot of silver linings that came from that situation, but more specifically, that will benefit you as a reader. My unique ability emerged from not being able to read and comprehend like other kids. Because of this handicap, I became a visual and audible learner who knows how to create easy to follow recipes for success. Following are some recipes that are much faster than trying to figure out something from scratch through trial and error. Yeah, it is kind of like a ligma, by the way. Having the right recipes can get you success quickly. If you wanted to recreate for your friends and family a tongue tantalizing taste of the spaghetti and meatballs from your favorite Italian restaurant, there are many ways to go about it. Go to Italy and study Italian cooking for months. Go to the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. Study for years to get a degree in Italian cooking. Can try recipe after recipe searching for the secret sauce. Or maybe you could wait until a Sunday when the chef worked a 12-hour shift, and as you see him walking wearily to his car, approach him and say, "Hey, chef, I love your spaghetti and meatballs. I'm not in your business, and I'll never be a competitor. I just want to make your spaghetti and meatballs for my family. Truthfully, I don't want to waste any time. Can I give you $100 and you give me a recipe?" You can go home and makes the spaghetti and meatballs that taste just as incredible as the chef makes them, and can do it at the very same day because you have the recipe. This book will give you a different type of recipe. That's what I do. Create recipes that get people the results they want faster. There are probably a million options that exist to help people achieve success. You've probably read personal development books or even gone to motivational, inspirational live event. But for some reason, maybe it didn't stick to the level you wanted it to, and that's why you're reading this book. And don't take that lightly. And I don't take that lightly, not in the slightest. Here's a promise to you: I want recipes to help you make tiny shifts in your habits that can make you unrecognizable to yourself down the road. You only need tiny shifts in our millionaire habits today. Be completely different in the near future and for years to come. When I decided to write this book, I reflected back on my own life for the past 25 years and figured out the habits and shifts I've made that put me where I am today. And that's what you get through this book. Small shifts in big, small shift to yield big results. This book isn't based on my personal journey to success. It's filled with universal principles that don't work just for me, they work for anyone. Man, I went on a quest to discover the shifts, habits used by billionaires, top athletes, business leaders, some of the world's thought leaders, people whom I knew through my work. Many of these individuals started at the bottom. No, they did. In much harder times than we can imagine today. And when I extracted their strategies and viewed them within the context of my personal strategies, I identified the tiny shifts that have made the difference in our lives and make the biggest impact in our life. That's what this book has, and that's what this book is going to show you how to replace old habits with new ones, and that will help you make the leap to the next level of success. I'm grateful you picked up this book and have come even this far. Please don't stop now. Most people buy a book because of the title and let it sit on a shelf, hoping by some magical power that the knowledge and steps will transfer into their brain. I know you're busy and what it takes, and that it takes time and will to read a book. But I urge you to make this time and apply the will to keep reading. I promise I will do everything in my power to keep it compelling and exciting. Not doing a great job so far, but also to deliver the tactical strategies to take away habits that are not currently serving you, replace them with success habits that can grow your life, wealth, and joy exceptionally. Believe me, I know you may feel like there's no extra time for you to implement these habits in your life. No, you're not sitting around reading this book right now with 5 extra hours in your day. But as you'll see throughout this book, it's like removing a battery and putting in a new one. I've already shared this, but it's worth repeating. You don't have to add time to learn new habits. You just have to replace the old habits. To do so, you need to recognize the counterproductive routines you've fallen into. Once you acknowledge them, you will see how realistic it is to be able to switch. There are a million different paths to. With all of these options, I've learned that the fastest way to success involves one option above all others. Success habits become your new routine, your life can change dramatically. You've picked up this book for a reason. Maybe you're a baby boomer who has been in a job for 30 years or 40 years because it's the responsible thing to do. Finally, time to reinvent yourself. Maybe years ago, someone told you stop being a dreamer and do what's right. Do what's secure and safe. And what you are doing has dampened your enthusiasm for work and life, you, especially when you know you're meant for so much more. Maybe the world has made you insecure and you're staying in a job that's actually really probably not a but. Or maybe the world has made you insecure and you're staying in a job that has you living day after day just hoping something will change. Maybe you have your own business and it's not doing so great, or it's time to take it to the next level. Maybe your back is against the wall and money is tight, so you need a new path. It really doesn't matter who you are or what your situation is. Whether you're a college student, unsure, the world is still has the opportunity that your parents had, or if someone ready to tap into your full potential and start something new, the book can help you take control of your life. It's time to stop being the thermometer of life and start being the thermostat. Stop hoping a break will magically come. You can create your own break and do it so much faster than you could ever imagine. But before we get into the how of it, I want to share with you the why now. Time is right to change your habits. Chapter 1. Stop there. All right, and that is the introduction to Millionaire Habits, the gateway to wealth and prosperity from Dean Graziosi. All right.
Chapter one.
No, that was the introduction. Once again, I just said that out loud.
Okay.
That's okay. Anyways, Yes, guys.